Hello, hello, hello. Happy Marvel WandaVision Friday, everybody. We are doing our second episode. I almost said first because this is our first time doing a single episode, second episode, if that makes sense. But we started this a couple days ago, a couple days to about a week ago, where we did our full run through of 1 to 5 because we were just getting this back up and running and we kind of just wanted to spur through all of that. And now we're going to be making this a every Friday night weekly thing where we're going to be going over a short, moderate review and thoughts on what we think of the current WandaVision episode as far as going into Phase 4 of Marvel. So I'm really excited to get this going. I hope you're having a wonderful Friday. Cheers to you. Grab a drink. It's Friday night. Let's chill out and let's discuss WandaVision. Say hello, guys, and we'll kick this off.
What's going on?
You say hi, Mason?
Hello.
Hello.
There we go. So we got Cody and Mason. Is if you've watched the other episode, you remember he was our guest expertise on everything Marvel with the comics and stuff like that. So I'm glad that he's back. Thank you for that. And first initial things I want to say, just to kind of get that out of the way. Thumbs up, thumbs down on the episode.
Big thumbs up.
Big thumbs up.
Yep. I think it's the best episode by far.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, you
100%.
have a different thought on that, Mason?
I did second best episode. I really liked last week's episode, but this was still good.
Was it mainly because of the reveal at the end? Was that what did it?
Yeah, that was more of. I felt more plot heavy.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, it's tough for me if I think about it in that lens because, obviously it's hard to take away from that excitement factor of seeing it happen, but I also like the current episode that happened today for the sole fact of I get to see his character in action. So like
Sure.
him appearing is one thing, but actually seeing him in action to me is a little bit more. So that's just me personally. But yeah, I gave it a thumbs up as well. It was a great episode. It definitely brought out a lot with the characters. A lot. There was a lot of character building when it came to like powers, different scenarios with the characters. I mean, there was a lot within that 37 minutes. I think it was like 37 minutes and 56 seconds. If I'm, I think I might be a second or two off, but it was a fairly short episode for how much that they packed in there, and I thought they did a very well job of like segmenting it out. I mean, is there any critiques that you guys really see from it that you would like change, or was it just fluid for you?
I thought
He
Yeah.
thought,
I would keep them in their Halloween costumes.
yeah, the Halloween costume. I mean, yeah, that was a quirky little nod to the comics. I know a lot of people probably didn't get that right away.
Yeah,
If you didn't get it, Vision looks absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
But I obviously I understood that, so I thought it was a cool little thing. The reason this was my favorite episode, and I'll say spoilers real quick, just so if you've gotten this far, we haven't really ruined anything. The kids getting their powers that got me hyped
Mm-hmm.
because
yeah,
now they're fully aware of what's going on within the city,
Uh-huh.
and they have their powers. I think it can get real fun from here.
sorry, I'm joking.
That just choke you up, dude.
Oh God, it's just such a powerful show. I mean, it really gives me my feels. Oh, okay, let me gather myself together here. All right, I'm good. No, but yeah, I mean the power thing, like you said, it's going to be fun. But part of what makes it fun is not only fun. I'll put in parentheses fun and problematic because, as we saw in the show, I mean, I don't want to jump right to the end, but I mean, there was something that happened at the end that I'm going to get to, with Vision trying to get out and everything that happened with him, and that's already a problem. Now that so you have him being self-aware, you have the kids getting their powers, and now they're going to be running amok because they're children with these. One can run really fast,
Right.
and the other pretty much has Vision's abilities. I mean, they haven't fleshed it out to see how much of it he has, but as far as the stuff going on with his mind and hearing things, I mean, it's going to get very interesting.
Yeah.
Because I know when we were watching it, me and Cody were watching it at the same time, and the minute he knew that the kids were going to get his powers, he's like, they're going to get the powers. This is about to be really great. He's like, buckle up. Like, it was like, I was literally,
Got me
I didn't
hyped.
even have to say anything.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting so into it. Now, I mean, one thing I want to say about the show that we talked about last time that you guys completely, kind of blew my mind with that I didn't know was, Captain Captain Rambo with her powers in the comics.
Huh.
And I didn't know that. I remember like I was like, what? I was like, what? You guys were like, yeah.
Phantom.
So it blew my mind. And I mean, I know I talked to Cody about this because we both said, kind of how they teased her powers in this episode. He was like, oh, that's cool, and I asked him, I said, is this how you expected? Is this good? And he's like, yeah, that works. What do you think, Mason? Was that a good way of like creeping into it, or would you have rather had it something different?
I think it's a great way to do it subtly instead of having some big explosion or some kind of off the wall major event. It's just kind of subtly in there, like, hey, this isn't gonna happen to everyone, or it's gonna happen to everyone if we don't stop Wanda from going crazy, or she
Mm-hmm.
could rip everything apart and put it all back together weird, and you'd have got 6 arms or 7 eyeballs or whatnot.
They're all going to turn into just not mutants, but mutated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, man spider.
Yeah, because I know I told Cody when we were watching it because when they first show her getting the scans, the CAT scans and the blood drawn, and they show that it's just like white nothingness. And you remember how I said I had no idea about her powers? I just thought it was because of the whole TV static thing that it might have just messed up because it's like something around her from the show. That when they did that with changing her molecular level and different things, I was like, well, I wasn't too far off, but
No, you're actually
No.
pretty close.
I was surprised. So I was kind of glad that they did that. I was like, well, I don't feel like an idiot now. But like, well, I don't want to spoil. Oh, okay, I'll say spoiler alert if you don't want to know what type of power she has, because I'm about to ask that question. Stop listening now if you want to. But you guys know exactly what type of, because you said she's the second Captain Marvel, is what you said? I remember correctly.
Yeah, she in the comics she was the second Captain Marvel, but she's really like, I mean, I guess to describe her like just full of energy. Like she shoots like energy beams and can fly. I don't really know if there is anything else.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, basically, she's got the movie Captain Marvel powers, but slightly
To a
less.
lesser extent, yeah.
From my understanding, I'm not a big Photon fan.
Yeah, Photon
I
is her name. That's why I keep saying that the last episode
follow
and
her
this episode.
storylines, or Captain
Okay.
Marvel, matter, but
So that's the name she goes by is Photon.
yeah.
Yeah. And she kind of
Okay.
has like a, if you know the X Men, kind of like a storm like costume, only it's
No,
mostly white with black shoulders.
Um,
Okay.
Photon was her mom's code name
Yeah.
in the Air Force. If you
Oh.
remember Captain Marvel, it even says it on her ship, on her not ship,
On our ship. What?
on her fighter jet.
There you go.
I want one.
Which, by the way, since we're talking about her, I thought about this today. I still think that it's going to be Reed Richards we see, and probably next episode because she brought it up how they were going to go meet her guy.
You think that's who it'd be?
I still think that's who it's going to be, but I thought of someone else today after we had watched the episode when I was thinking about it, and it could be a scroll. If you remember in Captain Marvel that there was that scroll that helped fix that ship in her backyard when she was little.
Uh,
I was thinking I could see them tying the scrolls back into the MCU, like because obviously the scrolls are back in
yeah, and
Spider-Man.
Talos, who's the main bad guy in Captain Marvel, was the head of the science division.
Yeah,
Of
so I think
oh,
you could I think they could spin that back in there, and it makes sense, and not rush the Fantastic Four into the
um,
MCU. Just a theory I thought of today, like because I know the Reed Richards things is really picking up speed, and usually when that happens, it's completely wrong. So when I was thinking about it today, I was like, I could just be a scroll, and everybody's gonna be like, oh, the green guy.
yeah.
So
I'm not
um,
sure I would consider that a big reveal if it was just a scroll,
no,
but it helps set this more in the overall universe.
yeah,
So
I think it would work more for the storyline. There's more of a character connection than just
Yeah.
bringing in Reed Richards out of nowhere.
right.
Even though I want it to be Reed Richards, I will preface by saying that.
It's what you prefer, but you know how story arcs have to go. So yeah,
Yeah.
that would be cool. That would be
It could
really
even help.
interesting.
It could even help set up a secret invasion stuff too if they
Right.
want to do
The Secret Invasion stuff that they tease and
that.
at the end credits of Spider-Man.
Yeah, isn't there a Nick Fury show that's supposed to be called Secret Invasion or something? I thought
Something
I had
like that.
seen that somewhere. I don't know if that's accurate or still happening
I
or
don't think
canceled.
they've announced anything officially like that, but I did see there's a guy, I forget his freaking name. He does a lot of the concept art, and he does work directly with Disney now. He used to be just like a normal guy. He
Freeland.
used, yeah, freelance and just do stuff. And Disney really liked his work and has him come in. And recently, I was gonna send it to you, Mace. He posted a photo 2 days after he said he was in a meeting with Feige, Kevin Feige, who's pretty much runs Disney now. And then today he posted like an edit of Magneto, and he just captioned it soon.
So was I right?
So you might be right with that big character cameo being Magneto.
Daddy Magneto,
Yeah, Daddy Warbucks.
Daddy Warbugs.
which
Yeah,
one are they gonna bring? I would assume they would bring the newer.
Fassbender.
Yeah, I would assume they'd bring in. They got
I
way more.
disagree.
You think? So? No.
I think they'd go with Ian McKellen because it's a whole thing of multiverse, and he would be the right age to be their dad.
Yeah,
He
but
could be the different universe, and then
what's
a goes from another one, and
I don't know. I mean, we can get into this later, but I just don't think they would do that just because they can get so much more out of
Fassbender.
Fassbender than,
yeah,
I mean, the guy's, what, 81, 82? Plus, I mean,
thought-
they would have had to have filmed this during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Is he really going to
Yeah,
leave to go
Gandalf ain't
film?
coming out. Gandalf ain't coming out of quarantine for this.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe. I mean, he could have
It'd be cool
filmed
because
a
that
scene or
dude is
two or something.
an amazing Magneto.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know. I like, what's the guy's name? I keep forgetting what his name is.
Michael Fassbender.
Fassbender.
Mhm.
This just sounds wrong. Like, oh yeah, Fassbender. Doesn't sound like a name, He's
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
he's an assassin. That's all I know.
The movie was horrible. Let's never mention it again.
It was, but I do like him as an actor.
Oh, well, yeah, he's a good actor, but that was not a good movie.
No, but to talk about, I mean, Fassbender was the dad to the Evan Peters Quicksilver.
Yeah,
True.
That was in that timeline.
Uh,
But
yeah, because I watched that clip today.
yeah, I
Just to
don't
relive that.
I don't think this is going to drive some controversy. I don't think that Quicksilver is the Fox Quicksilver.
What do you mean?
I think they literally just recasted him as Evan Peters just to do it. I don't think she pulled him from another.
it's just to fuck with
multiverse.
people.
Not just to fuck with people, but I don't, from the dialogue in this episode, which could just be a total disinformation. I mean, he knew every memory that the Quicksilver we know had, which wouldn't be possible if he came from a different multiverse.
Unless
True.
because you have to think, and this could be a stretch. When she originally had all this stuff happen with the TV show and whatnot, she claimed that she was unaware of how it started, but then became self-aware. Maybe she subconsciously, because he said in the show, he's like, all I know is I got shot in the street like a chump. You were screaming my name that you needed me, and here I am. Maybe she subconsciously gave him the memories of her actual brother and resurrected him at the same time so that she could handle the thought because her kids kept asking about him. So she might have done that without realizing it.
Because that's what I was thinking too. Because she kept occasionally seeing him as like a zombie with like bullet holes and stuff. So I was thinking maybe he's not actually there, but like some kind of mental construction that she made that other people can see and interact with, but isn't actually a real.
Well, she did
breathing
shoot him though.
You know what?
It's true.
Thinking about it, has anybody in the town had any interaction with Quicksilver other than the family?
I don't think so.
No, just physical objects other than when he was trolling all the people during Halloween and spraying them
Right.
with like confetti. But they didn't specify if he was the one doing that or if it was the kid.
Right. Right, because the kids get their powers almost right
They
after
did
that.
show him smashing pumpkins though with a sledgehammer. You did see that briefly.
Uh-huh.
But those are inanimate objects, which people, I mean, these people are already messed up in the head as it is. I mean,
Right.
it could go so many ways with that. That's a
Mhm.
lot.
It is a lot now that I'm trying to think about it.
I know.
But I mean, like, actually interacting, like a dialogue conversation with somebody in town. I don't think he talked to anybody
I
Nope.
in
think
the
the only
town.
person he might have spoken to was Agatha.
No,
But
he
now that
didn't,
No.
I
because
think about it, I think
she
that was
was out by
just
Vision.
the opening credits that
Yeah, she
they
wasn't
had
in the episode
interacting.
until the end.
Yeah,
Right.
so she could
And
be
here,
just something she's projecting for the family as a
Uh,
distraction.
because if you think about it, the only two actual people that weren't involved in that core group that were interacted with, as far as like the townspeople, was the guy dressed up as Frankenstein. I feel stupid for not remembering his like fake character name.
Isn't
Who
it
was
like
doing
Herbert
neighbor?
or something?
Yeah, something like that. He was dressed as Frankenstein doing the neighborhood watch. Wanted to talk to him, and the only other person that actually physically talked to, except when Vision was trying to talk to people who were frozen in time, basically, was when he talked to Agatha. So those are the only two people that were interacted with through that entire episode. Otherwise, it was just Wanda and her family
uh,
the whole time until
right.
Vision got out and was dealing with, the people on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be
E-
something to keep an eye on for sure.
Even Quicksilver makes a comment about how, oh, we've been doing a good job keeping all these kids hidden because now all of a sudden the whole town is full of young
Yeah,
children, all Halloween age. Like, where do they come from? They haven't been seen in 5 episodes.
Yeah, because I know Cody mentioned that to me. He's like, "Oh, you notice all the kids all of a sudden?" And then Quicksilver
mm-hmm.
says it, and I'm like, "Oh, well, they're self-aware about it too."
Uh-huh.
Which was weird because I know this is a huge stretch. I got a weird feeling because at one point in the show, Darcy was looking through the files, when they left, and she's like, "There's one big file that I haven't gotten to yet, and I need to figure it out because it's like huge." And
Uh,
then I was thinking back to when Quicksilver, he's there for her, but it's like if she brought him there to like almost comfort herself or like be a part of it, why is he interrogating her so much on what she's doing? Like he constantly asks very specific questions, like
uh-huh.
all these different things, and like, how did you do it? Where have you kept them? What are you doing with this? Like, you're testing me. And it's like I had this weird feeling that Hayward in some weird way might have something to do with his appearance in there and trying to get through to her somehow, because he's been hiding a lot of stuff that we found out, hiding the fact that he's tracking Vision, hiding the fact that he's got a way in there now, and all these different things. Maybe that file has something to do with Quicksilver being in there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with Cody's point from the last episode that Hayward was making Vision into a weapon because he was the only character they were tracking.
Yeah.
As you seem like you only cared about getting Vision back and didn't really care what happened to Wanda,
Mm-hmm.
purely because they probably already put like a nuke or whatever devastating weapon inside the Vision and they want it back.
Which would be the Mind Stone, which we actually finally saw on Vision in this episode.
For the first
That's
time.
true.
For the first time, you actually saw it manifested.
Hmm.
Which I
So,
didn't realize until I watched it the second time. When he did that, I was like, "Oh shit, that's actually the real stone in his head."
yeah. So this has become a new theory to me. My buddy Kyle called me earlier. We didn't really have time for me to get to this, but I'm thinking that that's the end game. They want Wanda to create such a reality for herself that she brings back the Mind Stone within here, and somehow they find a way to get the Mind Stone out of there. Because I think their end goal is to get. They saw how powerful the Infinity Stones are, obviously, and
Right.
how
To
all
get
of
that.
them can destroy them.
Mhm.
And if you think about it, they were all technically put back in place by Captain
Right.
America. But like, where do you put the Mind Stone back?
True. And maybe that's what they were trying to replicate or extract in some weird way
Right.
when he was at Sword's facilities.
Yeah. Like, guys, I've seen a lot of online theories that say they think they're trying to recreate Ultron and everything. I think the main focus is the stone
Hmm.
because it's actually, I would think, if I'm remembering correctly, the only one that would actually, if she could create it there, the only one that's actually on Earth.
True.
Yeah. That and also that might connect with your theory when you were talking about how, comic wise, how Hayward basically kind of goes like off the deep end and that, Fury has to come in, Nick Fury has to come in and kind of take over to like, write, like be like, dude, you're fucking nuts, you're crazy and all that stuff. If I'm, reciting you guys correctly, isn't that what happens?
Well, that's just like the MCU. I mean, you have to watch Spider-Man: Far From Home, but Nick Fury does take over Sword. Like he is like he was
Yeah.
for Shield. He becomes that for Sword, like what Hayward is right now. So
Yeah.
you already know something happens where Hayward is taken out, and
Yeah.
there's a massive amount of corruption within Sword where there has to be a reboot,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, because I was thinking about that today when I watched it for the second time, and at the end of the episode, when everyone except him and two other people, and we don't know if Captain Rambo and Darcy, or well, Darcy got it consumed, but Captain Rambo got out safe or not because they just kind of cut away
Yeah.
when it was coming towards them. But we know that Hayward got away, and everyone else got sucked into the town and turned into whatever the town wanted him to be. And I'm wondering if now in the next episode or the episode after that is when we might see someone intervening in on his operation in some way because he's lost control of the situation where we might see a Nick Fury or someone else.
Yeah, which I think,
And may,
I don't know if Nick Fury is going to come in, but I still think that either Hayward is or is being controlled by Nightmare. I still like that theory.
I could see them bringing in Reed Richards now. That the barrier expanded and took everybody over, and maybe they'll bring the Fantastic Four then, but they won't have powers. They'll somehow get sucked into the void or whatever you
Yeah,
want to call the barrier thing, and that's how they get the
I
powers.
thought about that too when they were explaining how Rambo, like it was changing Rambo, and I was like, well, that's kind of what happened. The Fantastic Four just,
yeah, the anomaly. They
yeah,
got transformed because of the anomaly. Well, in space,
which,
but still.
yeah, I could definitely see that happening,
And
100%.
that might be why they just teased it and didn't really dive into it because they're trying to set that up so when they do show it, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But who knows? I mean, having like the original Fantastic Four movie, having that whole crew back. I mean, I don't know how you bring Chris Evans back, but
That'd be so
you'd
fun.
have to find new guys. But I know, I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Michael Chiklis back as a thing, dude.
Yeah.
That would be dope. He was a good
He
thing.
was.
Not
He's
to
probably old as
derail,
hell now.
he was perfect.
But yeah, I think Nightmare. I also think they're hinting towards a second. Well, first with the Nightmare thing, Hayward says Nightmare in this episode. I caught it the second time that I watched
Mhm.
the episode. Um, and
When he said it.
he says it in the beginning when him and Rambo are arguing in the tent, and he says taking Wanda out is the only way to end this nightmare. And she says we don't know that that's true. Wanda is the problem. We have to make her the solution. And that's when he is like, just rips her about her mom and shit, and then kicks her off. So I know Disney does stupid little things like that that absolutely look like nothing but turn out to be very important. Which now twice they've teased the Grim Reaper villain from the comics. Once was during the one little intro where Vision gets dressed like the, what is that stupid witch show, Bewitched or whatever. You
Yeah.
know, when he's like going through the walls and getting dressed and stuff, and he when he goes through the closet and down to the kitchen, you see the Green Reaper's helmet from the comics and his staff. And then in this episode, I thought it was interesting the second time I watched it. In the cul-de-sac he's in, where the kids are all frozen and everything, before he changes his image to like the Vision that we know, there's there's one huge blow up in the whole show, and it's like a giant Grim Reaper, and I think that could also be a little nod to that character as well.
That's
But
a good catch.
Because in the comics, if I remember right, they're brothers. Grim
yeah,
Reaper's like android thing, so maybe that's what Sword was building.
right,
Was them taking Vision schematics and building the Grim
true,
Reaper.
true, that could be it too.
He might be even in. They might have already sent him in as like an undercover spy thing, and he might be in there somewhere
Yeah,
doing something.
It's true. And with the anomaly expanding now, or as the hex, as Darcy likes to call it, I mean, who knows who's in there at this point?
Right.
yeah,
Because there could have been people. I've thought of a random, completely out of left field theory that there's people that were creeping on the hex around in different areas because it was such a massive thing in the first place. And technically, Sword was only on one section of it because they never really showed them surrounding the whole
Right.
thing. They just showed them on one side. So I don't know if there was people creeping on the other sides of things and they got consumed too.
Right.
Like, and that's how they might explain other people showing up that just might be popping in out of nowhere now. Because they didn't really, I mean, they'll probably specify how far she pushed it out, but it looked like she pushed it out like a couple miles.
Right.
yeah,
And that would have to have enveloped, the neighboring towns.
Yeah.
definitely for sure.
And
Yeah,
I did like
'cause-
when that happened. I know Cody pointed out when they passed by the sign, as they were driving by that sign, it was like the town sign showed
Yeah.
on the sign, them driving by. Like that was the sign.
yeah, it was an SUV driving.
It's just interesting how they showed that stuff convert, and then people turning into the circus and stuff, which I thought was a nod to where, she it turned into a circus. I don't know if she had control over picking that, but to me, if she did, that was her basically saying everything they were doing out there was just a fucking circus. Like it was just like,
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
thought that
and
too. Oh, these
same.
guys are just a bunch of clowns.
Yeah,
Exactly. Because I mean, everything that changes for a specific reason, and it's like it could have changed anything. Why a circus? But maybe because there was tents and vehicles. Maybe that's why. I don't know. I might be reaching.
yeah.
It's
Something else I noticed the second time I watched it, and it had to be on purpose. Um, because when Wanda and Pietro are sitting talking on the hay, and there's the old school movie theater in the background. Did you notice what two movies were playing?
Wasn't it
No,
The Incredibles?
The Incredibles was the top one, and then The Parent Trap was the second one.
Okay, I see. I couldn't read the second one, but I was like, "Oh my god, is that?"
It's The Incredibles. Yeah, think about it. The whole family gets powers in this episode.
Right.
That movie's
It
about
works.
powers, and then Parent Trap, where you're literally tricking because you're switching the sisters. But it just reminded me of, okay, we're switching Pietro. Could that be like a nod to that? Like he's the same guy, but he's not.
Right.
There had to be a reason they chose those two movies.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because
And I also
Incredibles was out in the 2000s, not the 90s.
yeah, that's a big separation for those to
Yeah.
be in the same theater for some weird
Too
reason.
big a coincidence.
Yeah, exactly.
And I also like when you and me watching, you pointed out something that just like I was like, holy shit, I can't believe I didn't think of that. When that commercial came on, and usually the commercials were something about related that you could be like, oh, I get that, or I get this. Like the only commercial that ever really like was a stretch that I had to think about was the Lagos commercial, because it took me a second. It wasn't so plain as day. But this one, I remember when we were watching, I was like, I don't get that one. You were like, yeah, I don't know either. And then you had texted me and tell
It was
tell
like
me
5
too.
minutes after we watched it, I thought about it because, and I could be completely wrong, but obviously the commercial is for Yo Magic. It's like reminded me of a Go-Gurt commercial back in the day. And it's like this kid who looks to be alive and well, but then you find out, he's hungry, he's starving to death, and he gets the yogurt, and it's Yo Magic, but he can't open it, and he dies. So I texted Adam. I was like, what if that was the first commercial that foreshadowed what was going to happen in the episode? That no matter how much magic Wanda gives to Vision to bring him, to life within this world, he will never be alive in the real world, because you saw him when he was breaking through, just getting ripped to shreds, and he had the same dent in his head that Thanos put out. I paid attention at the second time. It was the
Yep.
same indentation, and his body was torn apart. I mean, they showed in that security footage. I mean, he was ripped to shreds in 3 different places, and he was literally being ripped to shreds by the Hex to get out of it. And I thought it was interesting too. But yeah, that's why I thought the commercial foreshadowed that no matter how much magic you give, he's still dead. And she's constantly reminded that when she looks at her brother, she sees the zombie. She looked at Vision 2 episodes ago, and he had the indentation in his head. So I think that's just her remembering, like, no matter how powerful she is, she's not going to be able to bring him back.
I feel like that's the only explanation for it, because I was sitting there scratching my head like, what the fuck is this commercial about? And then, Vision's starting to die at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
And maybe it's a way for them showing, like, her powers do have a limit. She can't bring people back from the dead, just like she couldn't bring the dog back from the dead when it died in the last episode. She can't bring Vision back no matter how hard she tries. She can't bring Pietro back because, they keep showing him as a zombie every now and then in this episode. So I think that's the only way that makes sense.
Also,
when
I'm sorry, I got to interrupt you here.
No, you're good.
I think what Douchebag says when Vision's coming out is very, very important for why
he really wants out.
Yes, when he says, man, he really wants out. I think they really want him in. And this is why I came up with they want the stone theory, is why would you be tracking him in there? And then why would you be like, wow, he really wants out, and not help him get out? They either wanted him to die because they knew she was going to come get him or save his ass. But he was shocked that he has discovered that he can get out of this. And I think they want him in there for that specific reason.
Well, yeah, because they made a point to have Darcy's character run and try to say, why are you not helping him go save him? Like, he's being ripped apart and no one did shit. And then they handcuff her to a Jeep.
Which I think just not proves, but like ends the theory that, oh, they were trying to weaponize his body, because his body really isn't anything without the stone. I mean, the stone is what, I mean, yes, he was, I guess you could say technically like Jarvis's database, but the Mind Stone is what gave that physical embodiment the ability to use all that knowledge and power. And they can't do anything without it.
Yeah, for sure. Because I mean, I was going to ask you guys. It's funny that you brought that up about what he said when he was trying to get out. I was like, why was he so surprised that he was trying to get out? Like, you know what I mean? They're trying to get in so bad and get the drones in there, people in there, all this stuff. Why was he so surprised and not like being like, oh my God, he's out here, let's get him out so we could figure this out? Because every single thing that has come out of the anomaly, or the hex, if you want to call it, he immediately brings it in and he goes, I want to work up on that in less than an hour. I want to know what this is in less than 10 minutes. You need to tell me what's going on with that right now. But Vision comes out, one of the most important things, and they're just like staring at him. It's a huge distinction. Even that drone that Wanda brought out, which was their own drone, she brings it out, and then later they're dragging it in. He's like, I want to know everything about that. But he didn't give a shit about Vision. So I think you're absolutely right. I mean, there has to be something with that.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. I mean, it's just a theory. But I'm pushing it out there. I haven't seen anybody else say it. That's my theory.
I feel like that's probably the most accurate it's looking now. The more and more we talk about it, the more I'm like, you might be right.
Yeah.
You heard it here first, folks. Cantina Corner podcast.
Mind Stone. This whole series is about the Mind Stone. I thought it was originally about the twins. I really thought that was the end goal, was to get the twins.
Have her have kids, and then we steal them and raise them to be super soldiers like they tried with Wanda and Pietro the first time.
Exactly.
And there has to be some sort of reason that the first time we see Vision go into his full self with the Mind Stone, the first person he has contact with is Agatha, who supposedly is completely lost in the town that she grew up in.
Yep.
Right.
You know? And it's almost like he's being, like Wanda is remaking him. Like how she completely changed Rambo's, bulletproof vest and everything to actual clothes, and when they went out, they were physical clothes. So we do know that she has the ability to change certain things and have them stay in outside the hex.
Yeah, rematerialize itself into something else.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, recreating an Infinity Stone would be extremely difficult and take a long time. But we've seen now Vision actually get that Mind Stone from a physical standpoint. What sort of power it holds, we don't know. But I thought it was interesting too when I was thinking about this that the first person he talks to is, we still don't know, but probably the only other witch inside this hex, because I thought it was funny they put her in a witch costume and
she laughed like a witch.
And she went from a sheer panic to absolutely completely calm. She was like, you're dead, and then she's like, all is lost. Like, that's that maniacal shit that, like, I was like, oh, this is sweet.
Yeah, but I don't know. I was, after hearing that, I was kind of like, maybe it's a misdirect. Make it seem like she's the maniacal character, like, oh, she's clearly the bad guy, but maybe she won't actually be the bad guy.
No, like I said before, I don't think she's going to be the main protagonist. I think, like we said before, I think she could have been like a Quicksilver who just kind of got wrapped up in this plan,
right? Like,
and then got sucked. She helped Wanda get powerful enough to actually Wanda did kind of get inside her head a little bit.
Like maybe Wanda found her to train her powers to try to bring her back. Yep. Or, she was sent in there as a spy to help Wanda get strong enough to then make the mind.
Yeah, exactly.
And work from there.
I also did like how she mentioned the fact, like, you're an Avenger, and how they brought it out, and he was like, what's that? And she's like, you don't know? He has no clue, which solidified the fact that, like, he's completely unaware of anything outside of anything he's experienced while he's been in there.
Right. Which,
I'm glad that they put the nail in the coffin on that, so there was no misconception.
Which is another credence to what we're talking about. Is she physically actually remaking Vision, where he is not going to have any memories of what the fuck happened, but he knows what's going on right now. He knows, okay, this is my wife, this is my family, but doesn't know anything from his past. Now, Pietro is a total different situation. I mean, he knows everything about the past.
Yeah.
So there's a difference there. Even though he's dead, he has knowledge of his past. So maybe she's not trying to physically recreate her brother. She could have pulled him from the soul realm too, or whatever. Or he could be placed there, like you were saying.
See, I feel like Pietro's more of a, if he is actually there, he was made from more of like a heart kind of standpoint. So she put all the memories in that she remembers with Pietro, like his death, and them getting the mercury poisoning or whatever from the lady giving him out.
How about Pietro being dressed up as Nick Fury for that Halloween?
Yeah,
I thought that was hilarious.
And he's Nick Fury from the Nick Fury movie with David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, hilarious.
Yeah.
See, I think with the whole Pietro knowing his, Quicksilver knowing the memories, and then, Vision not, I think it's not problematic for Pietro to know the memories, but it's problematic if Vision knows his past.
Right.
Because if he knows his past, he's gonna shut this shit down. Like, he's gonna immediately kill it. So I think that's where that difference comes in. Because it's not a problem if he knows his memories, because he died before all this other, like, Thanos and Endgame and Infinity War and all that stuff happened. All he knows is up to Ultron, which was just a bad person that people were killing. There wasn't all this crazy shit that happened after the fact. And it's her brother, so it's like, their blood.
Yeah.
Like he even says, he's like, I'm your brother, I'm not one of them, you could talk to me, and I think that's why she had him come there, because she needs someone that she can console with. She even says, when he goes, it's amazing what you did, and she's like, you don't think it's bad? And he's like, no, I'm impressed. I think she wants someone to be on her side so that she doesn't feel like she's actually crazy or it is wrong.
Yeah.
How many episodes? Go ahead. I was gonna ask how many episodes is this season supposed to be? Because we're on episode 6 just aired. So is there
I
2
don't
more,
know.
4 more, a
I don't
dozen
know what
more?
they've said.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think they've said. I haven't looked it up, but I'm pretty sure someone would have like shot it out. That
When is the Falcon?
March
19th.
16th, I
It's
thought?
19th, I think.
Okay.
They're not going to compete
Yeah.
with themselves,
No.
so
So
it's
it'll
got to
probably
end by then. So 2 weeks. There'll probably be a week or so in between.
So
okay.
right
So
now,
probably
the
Probably get like 2
19th
more.
would be next episode. The 26th would be the episode after that. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. You could do 4 episodes, which leads into the 12th of March.
okay. So maybe they did it.
My guess is we get 3 more.
3 more.
I'd say yeah, 3 or 4 for sure.
2 seems a little too quick to just wrap it up. It's over. And
Unless they do extended long episodes, because these times have been
true.
all over the place.
Yeah.
Which again, Disney, come on, one uniform length, please.
Longer.
Yeah, like the Netflix Marvel shows were like 55 minutes.
Oh,
Sometimes
don't bring those up.
Daredevil and Punisher were good.
Okay, 2 out of like the 20 they tried to make.
Yeah.
The Japanese
Don't-
anime ones that they did, of like the X-Men, I tried
Stop.
watching those, and I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
It's like, this is so weird.
Ones that were on G4.
G4, yeah. I haven't heard that in a while.
I missed that channel.
That's where I got introduced to Olivia Munn. How you doing?
Oh. Olivia Munn, and then
Sarah
what's her
Underwood.
name?
Who did the
Yeah,
Saturday
Underwood.
movies? It's the first time I saw Predator.
Attack of the Show and X-Play. That was
Yeah.
that was my jam.
Come on, I'm Ninja Warrior. You didn't know what the fuck they were saying, but it sounded pretty cool.
Yeah. Now there's an American version. It's like, how did this whole channel just get completely revamped? But like, that show became huge, and it came from that channel.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. I miss Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb. I miss them. I don't want to get too off track. Last thing I'll say about them is my favorite memorable episode is when they would like it'd be like, "Oh, welcome to X-Play," and they just had a monkey sitting there. They're like, "We have a monkey." Yeah, we got a monkey.
We got a
I don't
monkey.
know. And I was like, "What? You review games? Why do you have a monkey?"
Why not?
Like for no reason. And they got him over there like with controllers, just freaking out. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, the episode was solid. All our theories, I mean, all the theories that we've gone over are just, I mean, I've got so much to think about now because with the Mind Stone and like you bringing up, you know, the first physical manifestation we've seen of him in his actual self.
Yeah.
You know, because usually you only see him just with his face and he's wearing, you know, dress clothes or whatever. I'm curious to see what's going to happen in the next one. Now that she expanded it, I don't know if she's going to go on this like lockdown quarantine type of thing where she's going to, because if you think about it, this is pretty much probably the last theory that I'll have. When she comes out the first time when she's pissed, she, you know, waves her hands and the clear static goes to like deep red, which to me, I think she put when Vision was trying to come out and it seemed like it was pulling him back in. That was what she made at that point. Because I was like, you know, why else would she put a barrier unless she was afraid of people getting in or people getting out? So I think she did that to enhance the security of it. And then I think now if this happens, she's going to widen it and then they're going to try to go back in and that shit's just going to be solid. Like there's going to, no. She consumed everyone that was a problem and then she's going to shut that shit down.
I would be surprised if a couple like no-name soldier guys just die. Like they go in there and get disintegrated, or like scattered across the multiverse, like Hydra Bob.
Hydro Bob.
Yeah, from Deadpool.
Bob from Jacksonville.
Oh, please.
How's the wife?
Mm-hmm.
God, that was funny.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a good quote.
Love
So
Hydra Bob.
I mean, yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, any closing things you guys got? Because I mean, I've pretty much fleshed out all the theories I can without going into like some crazy off the wall shit. I mean, that's pretty much it for me.
No.
No, I like that they were all in their classic costumes for at least one episode. They even put the son in his Young Avengers costume.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did like that. I did like when he did get the costume on it, she's like, "Oh, you look so great in that. I'm so glad you wanted to wear it." And he's like, "Well, it was the only thing in my closet." And then she like stares at him, and he's like, "But I'm glad you love it." It was like, I gotta play the part because I'm about to go be sneaky.
Yeah.
Fuck, you know.
It's
I was like, I like that.
I one of the funniest lines in the show for me was when Pietro was like, he called Tommy Billy, and he's like, "I'm Tommy." He's like, "And don't you forget it."
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a great character. His comedy timing is perfect.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And something I read this online. I didn't pick this up, but when the kid says "kick ass," I guess that was like a nod. Evan Peters and I forget the guy's name who played Pietro in the actual MCU in Age
Oh
of
yeah,
Ultron.
they were in the Kick-Ass.
They were
movie.
in Kick-Ass together, so that was like a nod to him.
I forgot Evan Peters was in it, but
Yeah.
yeah, the original Quicksilver was Kick-Ass.
Yeah.
Which by far is like the greatest superpower ever. I just lost all the pain nerves in my body, so I can just get my ass beat. I don't care. It's like the best. It's like the only superpower someone's like, that could happen to me. We need to figure that out.
Right.
All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap this up for WandaVision episode 6, the October Spooktacular, Halloween Spooktacular. But I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoy finishing your drink if you joined us with a nice drink this Friday evening talking about this. And do we have any, what episodes are we going to have coming up? I know we're doing another WandaVision coming up this Friday for episode 7. Do we have any sports talk coming up? Anything like baseball related? I know some stuff happened with football.
Yeah. So next Wednesday, me and Nick will be doing basically a baseball heavy podcast because the baseball season's getting ready to start.
Okay.
We're gonna go break down each division in baseball leading up to the season. And yeah, we'll probably touch on some of the football news that happened just quickly. And then Monday we have our first current events podcast. So we'll be putting that out. We'll tell you what's going on in the crazy world of everything.
Yeah, kind of getting back into our roots of going over all the craziness in the world, life, politics, you name it.
Calling out the bullshit of politics.
Yeah, there's a reason why the political section in our Discord has a clown next to it, as I always keep saying.
Yep.
There is a specific reason, and I'm sure it's very, very well known what that fucking reason is.
Yep. There wasn't a cuck emoji, so clown had to do.
I don't even know what that would look like.
Just some guy sitting in a chair.
I guess, yeah. Maybe a little chastity belt.
Yeah. Could have catered to the younger generation, and we could have put cap, like a baseball cap.
Yeah.
It's all cap.
Yep. So yeah, we'll get into that Monday. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday is our planned podcast. If anything huge happens, like Thursday, you saw the Gina stuff happen. We got on here, we recorded and put out an episode. So if anything like that happens, we'll probably do that again.
Yep, which is why I'm going to preface or emphasize, not preface, I will preface and emphasize that you need to get into the Discord server if you want to stay up to date with all this stuff, because like what happened yesterday when we recorded about Gina Carano getting fired from Disney Plus with The Mandalorian, that was a spur of the moment thing because news happens fast, and that's why we have an announcements tab within our Discord as well as all the different sections. So that's where you're going to know if we got something coming up and it's spur of the moment, it's going to be put in there, typed in, and you're going to know so that way you can anticipate it. Definitely subscribe to the YouTube page. We've got 9 subscribers on there already. I know some of them are ourselves as well as new people, so thank you very much for that. It means the world. So we've got 2 videos on there, and we also have the 2 new videos that we did, which this will be the 3rd with WandaVision episodes 1 through 5 synopsis. We did the Gina Carano, and then now we're going to have this episode on there as well. So definitely follow and like the Facebook page. That's always a huge help. It costs nothing, except a couple minutes of your time. It would mean the world to us. And it shows that, you support the show, because the more we see of that, the more we're going to love doing this for you guys as much as we love doing it for ourselves, because this is a hobby we love doing for everybody.
Never seen 3 guys get hype over 40 views on a video before. We should record ourselves getting hype on some views.
Yeah. I won't lie. Yesterday when we uploaded the video, as we were talking about, like different things as far as posting it and editing and doing all those things, we were just watching them rack up, and we surpassed our first video within one night, and that video was
Yeah,
out for a
within
couple
2
days.
hours.
Yeah.
Wow.
So thank you for that. Anyone who's watched on YouTube, that's amazing. And also we've got a Twitter page. We've got so much. Discord is the hub for everything.
Yep.
So go to Discord. That's where you're going to see all of it. I mean, we just even added our guy in the behind the scenes, Sean, who we talked about yesterday. He just added so much more in here. He added support tickets. He added all different types of stuff. I mean, music channels, Pokemon catching. I mean, it's a fun place to be,
Yep.
and it's free. I mean, you can't beat free.
Free. It's an easy way to get your news. If we're posting stuff about, people don't know we're about to have a rover land on Mars. I posted the link for the live stream of that NASA's going to put on. So if you're in the Discord, you got access to that. You didn't know that was happening?
No, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. There's 2 other countries too who are going to be landing on Mars. China's one of them. I forget who the other one is. I agree. But nonetheless, that stuff like that, I'm always scouring the internet to putting out articles on everything. I've got it all categorized, very organized, so you can go right to what you're looking for.
We want us to be your preferred news source because, as Cody says, if you didn't know we're landed on the moon, it's probably because your news feed's
Mars.
within Mars. Mars. Sorry, I'm tired. I'm so fucking tired today. Mars.
The moon.
We landed on the moon. But yeah, we want ourselves to be your preferred news source because if you go to the news right now, all you're gonna see is coronavirus. No one has jobs. Trump impeached. Flooded with that right now. No one wants to talk about the fact that we're going to another goddamn planet. So yeah, come to us. It's non-biased. It's unfiltered, and you can be a part of it and post your own stuff too. And if you're a streamer, get in here. We support you streamers. We have a whole section for you. Whole section.
Yep.
But I'm done tooting our horn. So this is going to be episode 6, WandaVision, episode 2 of our talks. And we look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.
Peace.